I was just thinking what a clashing of seasons I have going on right now, and the ice cream truck just started going by. So even more. Welcome to the True Lane YouTube channel. I'm Chelsea, and today I am filming a new episode of my knitting podcast, monthly update, where I talk about projects I have finished lately, things that I'm working on actively on my needles, and some plans for the upcoming season. It's the end of August, and I am fully in pre-fall mode, despite the fact that it's still hot summer weather outside. It's okay today, which is why I'm wearing a sweater, but I am wearing a sweater. I have iced coffee with me. It's hot outside. All my finished objects are summer projects, mostly. All of the projects on my needles are pre-fall, fall projects. So I have my fall candles going, and I think that's about it. I'm also wearing shorts. So today I am wearing my stripe hype sweater, which is a pattern by Veronika Lindberg, and I knit mine out of Sandnes Garn Sisu, which is the blue, and I think the color is Chino green, which to me it looks more blue than green, but it's like a obviously in between color. And then the red color is Sandnes Garn Sunday in the color Brick, and both of those are held double to make it a DK weight. And then the red stripes also have a mohair in them, which is Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the color Dusty Robin. I can't believe I remembered all of those things. I have so many things to go over. It's been about 6 weeks, I'm sure, since I filmed my last episode, although I'm really excited to be coming back to my channel so soon after my last video went up. I think it might have been 2 weeks ago now, maybe a week since my last video went up, which was a show and tell all about Flock Fiber Festival. And it was also a different video because I had a guest host with me. Marlene Knits was here from Germany, and so it's high time to do just a progress update of where I'm at in my knitting, because it has been something that I've been driving myself crazy with. In the midst of all this, I kind of contemplated the title of my next podcast episode, and I was like, it's just gonna be that there is such a thing as too many whips, because that's what I'm going through right now. At one point the last 2 weeks I had 10 active whips. Whew. So I've been trying to cast things off like bing bam boom, and I have kind of been doing that, but I've also been casting things on out of necessity, truly, because Marlene and I had a planned project together while she was traveling here, and then my friend Megan and I ended up casting on a matching project. So I'll get into everything, but I'm really excited to kick things off because we're going to get the summer projects out of the way, the FOs, and then go right into pre-fall and autumn, because I have been doing nothing but thinking about fall for the last week or so, and I have so many plans and things I want to cast on. I've just been all texture all the time, and every project that I have is mostly stockinette, with a little twisted rib thrown in. So I'm really excited to talk about my plans, but we're going to start off with finished objects, and I have one that's like a fall item, and it is my weekend hat by Petite Knit. And I mean, it is finished, but I gotta redo this thing. If you can't tell, it's too tall. I was trying to make it extra tall because I like having a lot of room at the top of my hats, but then I messed up the decreases. I'll get to that in a second. But the yarn that I'm using is Sorella Yarn's Merino Fingering, and it is in the color Lodge, which is the green color, and Studio, which is the pink color. That was graciously given to me by Handmade with K, and as leftovers from her stripe hype sweater. So I marled them together into this very cute fabric, and it feels great. I love it. I'm going to put it on for you just to show you how essential it is that I redo this thing, because it's just too much. You should have seen, I finished it while Marlene was here, and you should have seen us crying with laughter at 11:30 p.m. because first of all, it's just too tall, and second of all, I messed up the decreases so it's extra pointy, and I was like, it'll block out. It'll totally block out. It did not block out. So I was doing the decreases. You do them for a certain amount of rounds one way, and then you start doing decreases every round to the end of the crown. And by the time I got to the end of the first round, you were supposed to have, I don't know, I'll make it up, 50 stitches left, and I had like 30. So I was like, this is not going to be correct. So it did turn out quite pointy, and I'm gonna redo it because I want to wear this hat so badly, but I mean, I almost could like roll it up a fourth time and just wear it like that, right? Okay, maybe not. But I do want to wear this hat. It's like one of my favorite projects I have knit, and so I need to go back and do it. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit below where the decreases started and just go straight into them and do them properly. So it is finished, but it's just I overshot by like a couple of inches. So I do like having a lot of room at the top of my head, but not quite that much. So it is a finished object, but I'm gonna go back and fix it pretty soon. So this is something I really want to wear in like pre-fall time, and I think it'll be so cute. I just love how this fabric turned out. It was such a great idea to marl it, so thank you for that, Kahila. I don't love the weekend hat pattern. I actually don't think I will make it again. I love so much my Purl Soho classic ribbed hat, I think it's called, and it's the same. It's a DK weight 1x1 ribbed hat, but I just love the way that it fits. I knit that one, well, not quite to pattern because I sized up a needle size and then knit one size smaller than I normally would. And I mean, this fits fine like around my head, but so I think I might just stick to my Purl Soho classic ribbed hat, and then that's a pattern that I can just keep knitting a longer tube if I want the double folded brim. So we shall see after I fix the decreases if it's something I want to make again. But I already know I love my classic ribbed hat from Purl Soho, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I knit the adult medium. I used the needle size and the pattern and everything, and I didn't make any modifications except for making it way too long. So that is the first finished object. And next I finished my Audrey tank top, and it might look a little off because I actually put elastic around the armholes through the I-cord all the way around the armholes because the merino wool stretched out quite a bit. So if you notice any kind of bunching around it, that's why, but it looks good when it's on, so that's all that concerns me. But this is the Audrey tank top by Petite Knit, and I knit the second size in the glorious Paisley Knits yarn Don't Let Anyone Make You Disappear from her Heartstopper collection. It's 100% merino wool on a DK base, and it's a really warm creamy color with lots of rainbow speckles, pink and lavender and turquoise and green and yellow and reddish, and it's just a really lovely yarn, and I had so much fun knitting this up. And I got to meet the dyer, Coley, at Flock, who has been like an internet pal for several months now, and I was wearing this when I met her, so it was very special to spot each other across the room and be like, Heartstopper! I mean, so that was really fun. This is what I wore on day one of Flock underneath my Cumulus blouse, which was a really fun way to wear it. I don't usually wear like color on top of color. I'm like an all neutrals with a pop of color kind of girl, but this was perfect for the day. And I am obsessed with this little like rainbow stripe that pooled in the center of the whole thing. I just think it's so cute, and I just love how this knit up. Curls a little bit at the bottom, but not enough to like upset me. That's kind of how it's supposed to go, but interestingly, well, something else to show you in a minute. It's mostly the merino that makes it curl up. And I knit it, I think I might have lengthened it about an inch, maybe. But it turned out the perfect length for how I like to wear it, which is really uncommon for me. I have a lot of problems with knitting things too short, but that didn't happen with this one, and it was a surprise because it was a bottom-up pattern, and it just worked out nicely, so I felt like this was a little bit meant to be. And do I have anything else to say about this pattern? You'll see I made another one straight away. So it's definitely something that I will be knitting again next year, probably in a more neutral color. Petite Knit sample is black, and I'm not sure that I would make it in black because I have a black tank top that I like that's kind of a similar fit in like a fabric, but maybe in a more neutral color. Oh, I just remembered, I did have plans to do another one that I have some green cotton merino from Olivia and Oliver Fibers in the color Willow, which is a really soft sagey green color. That's what I'm going to make next year. But for now, we're hopping off the Audrey top train and jumping onto the Nor'easter Amtrak to go do some leaf peeping. Not really, but that's like where my head is going. It's straight into fall. So I finished this one and again got to wear it to Flock Fiber Festival, which was awesome. And then we got a new yarn at the yarn store that I work at. We got a new base in from Cascade Yarns, and it's called Cascade Pashmina. That's absolutely wrong. It's called Cascade Pandemonium, and it is a 55% cotton, 45% viscose from bamboo blend, and it feels amazing. And the only problem I had with it is that the ball that I had 4 knots in it. Because plant fibers are not easy to weave in ends. They slip and slide everywhere. So the fact that I had to do that 4 times on the front of my garment, I was not super happy. Anyway, I was so excited about the base. I got some right away and made another Audrey top and decided to stripe it. So the colors, I have no idea. Do I have them over here? Oh, I do. Okay, so these are my leftovers. I used mostly one ball and then a little bit of my white. So this is the second ball that I had to dip into a little bit. But the colorway for the terracotta is 26. So this is color number 26, and then this is color number 29. And they have so many great white colors, but I just love this slightly milky gray tone to it. And look at, you can see right here on the outside of the ball there's a big old knot, so I should have taken that as a mental cue, but it's a bummer because I love how the yarn feels. It's like such a nice summer fabric. I mean, the drape, yo, it's insane. But I again made the second size, and it's a DK weight yarn, 22 stitches on a 6. Yeah, so I haven't measured my gauge against the first one, but it's quite a bit thinner. I mean, it didn't fluff up as much as the merino. Like, you can tell the stitches are much gappier on the cotton than the wool. I can easily wear the other one braless, but this one is like very clingy, like shows every skin texture, so I'm not quite sure what to do about that yet, but it did turn out really cute. I striped every 8, so there's 8 orange coral rows in between the white, and then I did 2 rows of the stripe. And this one, I think because the yarn is not as stretchy as the wool, the armbands fit perfectly fine. Oh, and I did make a little modification, which is that I did 2 fewer repeats of the front section than you're supposed to do in the pattern. So this should be a little bit taller and a little more narrow, but I did not feel like attaching another ball of yarn, so I decided to call it good. And so then I think I did the same thing on the back. I just stopped 2 repeats before it was done. So the straps are maybe a little bit longer than the pattern would call for, but it still fits fine. And it did, this could be like 2 centimeters longer, but like I said, this, it doesn't curl at all. Like the cotton viscose, I don't know, it just holds, I think because, oh, what are its fabric properties? Like, it doesn't zoop back to, you know, I'm losing all my words right in this moment, but when you like get cotton wet or whatever, it stays that way. It doesn't have memory like merino wool does. And so I did steam block this one. I didn't actually soak it in water, and it worked perfectly. Like, it looks great. I made 2 Audrey tops, and I was so done with this one. Like, I stopped wanting to make summer things like when I was here, so it was kind of like a slog to get through, but now it's done and I can move on to something else, just like we're gonna do right now. Oh, but it feels so buttery soft. It's so nice. I have one more finished object, and it's another tank top, so let's just cruise right on through. Oh my gosh, it is my sweetheart ribbed top that I have been making for a year. I have had this on the needles for a year, almost. I think I started it like in August or September. But it is the Sweetheart Rib Top by Friday Knits. This is my second one. My first one has wide ribbed straps, and this one I did I-cord, which is not actually a thing in the pattern, but I just wanted to do. It was so funny. I was watching KNITS the other day, and she made I-cord straps for something, and she did the same thing that I had just done on this, which is that I knit the I-cord and attached it, and then I ran yarn through either side and like tied it off at the end so that they hopefully will not stretch out. And I just thought it was so funny that we both like had the same thought at similar times. And so this is a 2x2 ribbed camisole pattern, and you can see it has this really cute sweetheart shaping on the neck, which I did correctly this time. On my very first one that I made of these, it was my first project with doing German short rows ever. And so I messed up several times. I had to tink back and fix my stitches. I didn't know how to pick up stitches at that point, so many of them are twisted on the way back. And I didn't know how to read German short rows. I didn't understand when to turn before the double stitch. I didn't understand how many to go past. Like, I couldn't quite grasp it, and now I know exactly how to do German short rows. So the Sweetheart top turned out how it's supposed to. And so I'm just so happy to have this again off the needles. And it was a really special yarn because I picked it up in Connecticut, which is one of my favorite states. And it is Fiber Spates Vivacious 4-ply in the color Gecko. And I don't quite remember the fiber composition, but it is a 2-ply, which you might be able to see here close up. But I think this color's so cool. You know, you all know I love green. It's my fave. So those are all my finished objects, and now we can move into the other things. And I'm going to present my whips in the order that I intend to finish them, which I think will be good. So the one I intend to finish first is also my most recent cast on, which is using some flock colors, and I have it actually in my project bag that I got at Flock, which I love. It looks like so good on camera because you can actually like zoom out and see it kind of looks like granny squares. I don't know. Anyway, I am knitting Gently Chaotic Knits or Emily Curtis's Stripy Turtle Tank in all green. So the main color that's going in between all of the stripes is Mighty Pine from the Kinetic Knitter. A really beautiful deep green tonal, kind of evergreen pine color. And then all of the green stripes in here are Sewrella yarn. This kind of olive green is Bryant Park. The next one is Jardin, I think, from the Summer Tonals. And then this one is, I believe, from the Downton Abbey collection. I don't know the name of it. The white is Townhouse from Autumn in New York, and then this green is also from the Downton Abbey collection. Is I think how it goes. So this I'm having so much fun with. It is a bottom-up mock neck tank top, and I am struggling a little bit with the length of how long to make it or not, but so I put in a lifeline, which you can probably, yeah, there you go. In case, heaven forbid, I need to rip back and add more. Yeah, so I'm making the third size of this. My measurements fit between the second and third size, and I realized, or decided, I wanted a little more positive ease than not. So I cast on the third size, and I think I just got to where you're supposed to stop for the front, and I think bind off for the neck hole or some such. But I've never really, I mean, so many stripes in my life lately. Like, look at us. Look at us. Look at us. And I've definitely never made anything quite like this. So it's been a really fun project to work on. I do not anticipate weaving in the ends. We'll see when we get there. I just love how all these greens go together. It's really been fun to knit up and fast because you just do 2 rounds of every color and then you're so excited to get to the next color. Or, you know, I have 5 different ones that I'm doing, so I'll be like, oh, I can finish this repeat, you know, in the next half hour or whatever. And so it's been very addicting to knit, and I'm really excited to have this as a finished object. I really like high neck sleeveless things. Like, I like a balance of showing skin, so if it's like low cut and sleeveless, that's probably not so much my style, but doing like a mock neck that doesn't have sleeves is like such a nice balance, I feel like. So this has been really fun to knit up. Again, I'm knitting it with my friend Megan, and she already finished hers, so I'm like pretty motivated to get this done. And I decided it's a pretty good like pre-fall kind of knit because it's a mock neck and it's in these nice kind of nature shades of green. Oh, that looks so cool on camera. I love all my stripes. So this is something that I'm gonna finish definitely within the next week. What is today? August 26th. So we have 5 more days left of August. It would be nice if I could finish this before my niece and nephew come to visit on Tuesday. So maybe I'll probably work on it today and tomorrow and then use kind of Monday and Tuesday for finishing, because I think you have to pick up and do twisted rib for the neck, and then I think you do some kind of finish on the sleeve holes. But it's been a really fun pattern. I'm really interested to see the fit after it's done, but I think it'll be good. So after I crank through that, I'm really excited to get cracking on my Terrazza Neck, which is a micro knit along I'm doing with Marlene from Marlene Knits. We cast it on when she was here using the same yarn, and I think she's done. So I've got a little bit of catching up to do, but it's this amazing deep kind of black brown, and the merino colorway is from Long Dog Yarn. It's called Aragorn from the Lord of the Rings collection. And then we are using a mohair from Shibui Knits called Lovegrass, and it's just such a nice deep brown combo. So I'm very excited about just how it's working up. Unfortunately, my hands turned brown after knitting this for a while. I had a lot black all along the tips of my fingers, and then like where I had tensioned the yarn on my finger. So I can only work on it at home because I want to have like easy access to wash my hands. But this is the Terrazza Neck by Petite Knit. It's basically a sweater with half a body and no sleeves. It's like you have a front panel and a back panel, and it's joined by a big turtleneck. So it's like a thing that you can wear over a long sleeve under a coat. It's like a scarf that stays on. to me. Like, you don't have to worry about it like rearranging it and it like falling off and dragging on the street behind you. It just, you just wear it and then you can like take it on and off. So I've never had anything like this in my wardrobe. I feel like it's a very Euro kind of Scandi type of thing. Like, not a lot of Americans wear it. I've also heard it called a dickie before. I think that's like a 70s like ski term maybe, but that might have a different like technical thing, because I know there's things that like tie under the arms. Maybe that's a defining characteristic, I'm not sure. I have overall been enjoying this. The twisted rib is a little much, but yeah, I think it'll be a relatively quick project. Like, Marlene knit most of hers on the flight back to Germany, so like, you know, 15 hours of knitting and she was done with both sides. And so after the panels are done with the hole in the middle, you just knit this big fat twisted rib collar, because it's the Terrazza neck, so it's like in the Terrazza family. She has a Terrazza sweater that has like similar characteristics. And so yeah, that is whip number 2 out of the lot, and I anticipate maybe getting this done first week of September would be nice if I really crank through it. I have had a lot of knitting mojo lately, so I feel good about the prospect of really getting through it. And then after that, I have been working so much on my Semper Slipover v-neck. Seriously, the amount of whips, it's a lot. What is going on here? I don't remember quite where this was last time I showed it, but if I hadn't joined in the round, it's in the round. This is the Semper Slipover v-neck by the Knit Purl Girl, and I'm knitting the size 3, which is, I think I measured out to a size 2 and I wanted it to be a little more oversized, so I'm knitting a size up, and I guess I've got about 2 inches into the body or so. And I'm knitting it in Sandnes Garn Sunday in the color That Orange Feeling, which is this, and then the coordinating mohair, it's called Orange. And they don't really look that perfect together. The mohair is way too light. The silk core is too light, but that's okay. We're working with it anyway. Like, in an ideal world, it would be exactly the same shade as the Merino, but I think it's still turning out cute. It'll still serve the purpose that I want it to serve. And so I'm planning to make a modification to this, which is doing 2x2 rib for the neckline and all the finishing, and the body ribbing, and I think there's sleeve, or not sleeve, but armhole ribbing. And that's because I am knitting this inspired by a actual sweater vest I saw available at Hobbiton. And so the only adjustment I really made was casting on 2 stitches at the front of the neck instead of 1, to be able to have a double, a 2 knit, you know, center for the V. So this I worked on quite a bit right before Marlene arrived, and so I do anticipate being able to crank through this after those 2 projects are done. So maybe second week of September I can wrap this up. I do not look forward to picking up the stitches at all for the neckline and the sleeves. It's something that I really get brain blockage about, picking up stitches, but it'll be okay. Because I have a dress that I'm envisioning wearing this over, but I've also been excited to wear it with just like a white button-up, white t-shirt, any other kind of long sleeve things I might have in my wardrobe that it would go with. I'm looking at my closet now. I don't know, but I am really into slipovers right now. I've never had one before, and I'm just kind of excited by the prospect of it. So, and I have several yarns in my stash that are not quite sweater quantity, that I'm not really sure what I had in mind when I bought them, but I could actually make slipovers out of them. So I might have a couple more coming up this season, but this is the one that's on my needles now, and one I'm so excited to finish because I feel like it has the potential to work with a lot of different outfits. So, whip number 3. The next 3 I kind of I don't really have an order of when I want to finish them by, so no particular order, the next 3 whips. This is my Shocking Stripes sweater by Tori Yu, and it is a really fun neutral and neon combo. I really want to get through the yoke of this sweater really badly. I don't know when that will happen, but I did do the first color repeat, so now we actually have something to look at. And it's nothing like I thought it was going to be knit, but it's really fun to do and quite simple. I just need to keep track of like all the increases and stuff, which is why I haven't worked on it so much. But I am making the second size, and the yarn that I'm using is Madelintosh Wool Cycle Sport in the color Antique Lace. And then the bright color is Neon Peach. I have them here. Don't ask me why I just started doing a center pull of this, I have no idea. But the neon is a little more saturated than it's showing on the camera. It's kind of blown out, but it's a really fun color. And I'm knitting this as a sample for the yarn shop that I work at. So this will actually be on display in the store to kind of show off the yarn. So I'm really excited about that. And this is one of my favorite yarns to work with, Madelintosh Wool Cycle Sport. It just has such a nice feel, and it's superwash, but it doesn't really feel like superwash. And I think I might love sport weight yarn. I don't know, but this has really been a thrill to work on. And I am looking forward to doing more, but again, it's not like something I'm really driven to finish immediately, so. But it does seem more like a fall colorway to me, summer colorway to me. So I don't want to be working on it too far into fall. So maybe after I get, you know, through the rest of these things, this can be my focus, but I also have other plans that I'm going to cast on soon, so we'll see. But I think that's everything with this one. I have at least made progress from the last time I showed it, so. Did I have my balloon sweater last time? Nope, this was not cast on. So my next project I have is my balloon sweater, which is a petite knit pattern. It looks a little crazy right now because the short rows have gone all the way to the front and then that's just there. But here's the back. Oh, this is so pretty. So this is a Woolberry Fiber Company yarn in the colorway Flower Crown from her Anne of Green Gables collection. It's beautiful. It's got some really, really bright speckles in it, like this blue and this orange that greatly excite me. And I'm holding it together with this Knitting for Olive mohair. I want to say it's called Soft Rose, but you can confirm in the description box after I verify. And I've just finished the first round of yoke raglan increases and now have to switch to a different technique. So we'll see. But it's just really beautiful, and this is something I'm kind of hoping to focus on throughout September and probably October, if we're being completely honest. I'm knitting it as part of a little micro cowl with Handmade with K, Kahila, and Kalila from More Copy Cali, and Alexandra's Garn, Alexander from Alexandra's Garn. And we're all kind of like not working on it right now. Kahila and I are the only ones who've cast on, I believe, but other things have taken precedence. So dang, I just love how this is working up. It's going to be such a dreamy sweater. This, again, kind of planning on September and October, but this feels like a great pre-fall piece. It's not super autumnal, but it is a sweater, and it a little bit feels autumnal. I don't know. So this is kind of one that will be ongoing. I want to say through September and October probably, but like once I get to the body, it'll be a nice easy stockinette project, which we all know is great for movie watching, and like fall and winter are like my Hallmark movie seasons. Like I'm almost always watching a Hallmark movie during the fall and winter, so this would be good for that. Just did a candle safety check. So my next update I have is on my Louvre sweater, which doesn't have a ton of progress, but it has been split for sleeves. So this is another petite knit pattern. This is the Louvre sweater. It's a DK weight kind of turtleneck situation, and I am knitting it with Sorella yarns classic DK in the color Newsprint from the Autumn in New York collection, and I love this yarn so much. It's beautiful. If the light would come back. I've split for sleeves and done like maybe 4 rows. This is truly going to be my perfect stockinette knitting pattern, because from this point on it is stockinette for days. This is a very oversized sweater, and I definitely do not want it to be cropped in any way, shape, or form. So we've got a long way to go. So I was thinking I would finish this ball of yarn, which is pretty quick, and start on one of the sleeves, but I do feel like it's starting to kind of follow a trend in itself, if you can tell. There's kind of a large blank spot here with no speckles, so I'm thinking I should probably work in a second ball to start helical knitting to kind of integrate them together, and then go on from there. So I might not actually start doing the sleeves before the body's done, but we'll see. It's speckling really nicely overall, I have to say. I love this DK so much. It's so squishy. It's just nice having a like no mohair, just pure merino sweater, one strand stockinette. This is gonna be great. So this one is not a priority. Again, I kind of anticipate knitting it throughout the fall, maybe even into November. It's just not at the top of the list to finish. Also because I'm enjoying the process so much. I'm so excited about knitting this sweater. I'm knitting the first size and no modifications whatsoever. So I have made progress, I know, since the last time I filmed, but probably like 10 rows. I don't know. So that is whip number 6. So the next one, which I think I had cast on in the last video, just hadn't done any of the actual main color, are the Hobbiton Socks, which I'm knitting in Long Dog Yarn's Shortcut to Mushrooms colorway from Lord of the Rings, which is this cute springy green that feels like you've just fallen right into a meadow. And then the gray color is Gandalf, which is also from the same collection. And the pattern is by Nurture Knitwear, and it's a really cute basket weave for the leg. I have not been able to remember the repeats, so this is how far I've gotten because it's quite slow going, and I just most of the time don't feel up to knitting these patterned socks. But they are going to be so fun when they're done, and there's really a lot of the kind of green gray in the speckly yarn that really works well with the Gandalf colorway, so I think this is a really nice combo that I've got going here. So I'll just do contrast on the heel and the toe. I hate doing contrast. This is the cuff. I hate doing contrast on the heel, so I'll just do it on the cuff and the toe, and that's the easiest way to do it in my opinion. And these are gonna take me forever. Remember that goal I had, that dream I once dreamed of knitting a pair of socks every month in 2023? That dream died in March, April, and so I've got another year ahead of me to actually knit through socks, but I have just been garment crazy lately. I haven't really felt like knitting on socks, especially because they're not a stockinette pair. So I don't know, I kind of hope my sock knitting mojo comes back because I want to have the finished socks, but man, knitting them is taking forever. So these I'm knitting 64 stitches, I think, on a 2.25 needle, the huge, and I have cast on the cuff for the second sock. I'm intending to work them in tandem, but these genuinely might take me through the end of the year to knit. I just don't really feel like it lately, and that's okay. Let me check my Ravelry and make sure I've got it all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I say 8 because I haven't taken my hat off of my whips on Ravelry yet, because I am going to go back and finish it. I did have 10 on the needles. These were both whips at the same time a couple weeks ago, so since finishing these, I'm now down to 7 whips. And that feels like a lot, especially because 3 of them are full-size sweaters. The mock neck, the Terrazza neck, and the Semper Slipover are gonna be done like that. But then we're gonna have new cast-ons. So you gotta like give a little, get a little, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know that it'll be my next cast-on, but my next for sure project is the stripe hype dress. This is something I wasn't sure I was gonna make until Kalila from More Copy Cali made it, and her colorways inspired me so much. I was like, what can I make the stripe hype dress out of? It's basically, it's really similar to stripe hype sweater. It's not quite as oversized. The neck isn't quite as high up, which I don't love, so I'm gonna try and like make it a little more crew neck. The stripe hype sweater uses like one main color with 3 to 4, 5, I think, different contrast colors. 4 or 5 or 6. For the dress, it's like a constant stripe repeat, not like 3 and then 3 and then 3, which just like wasn't quite my jam. And so I am gonna use 6 different colors in the stripe hype dress, which are gonna be kind of hard for me to hold up. But I am going to be using all the tonals that I have from the Autumn in New York collection from Sewrella. And I think it's going to be exquisite, in my personal opinion. I'm actually casting this on in my birthday month, I think, and I just feel like this is the perfect birthday project. She, in the pattern, uses a cotton merino DK weight, and I'm going to be doing fingering weight wool with the mohair. I have all the matching mohairs for these tonals, and so it's going to be kind of like a fluffy, drapey dream of a dress, and I can't wait to own it. I think it's going to be so beautiful. So this is a fall project that I am very excited about. I guess I've been stripe crazy without even knowing it. They just kind of came up out of nowhere and there they were. So I haven't looked at these in a long time until right now, and I am so excited to have them. That is going to be a really fun project that I'm casting on next month. So we'll hopefully have the sweaters and this guy going in the month of September. And then I was so excited because I have been planning to make the Sveaborg Pullover, which is like a half zip, quarter zip sweater with a bunch of cables on it. But I've had this yarn in stash. There's some more back there. I didn't want to hold it all. For probably a year now. This is Olivia and Oliver Fibers Tweed DK in the color Seashore. And it's a beautiful brownie gray beige color. And I was going to make it in this, but literally this week I started worrying about superwash. And I don't think this would be a great fit for that sweater. I feel like it will not age well. I feel like it will droop. I feel like it won't have the structural integrity that the collar needs. I just feel like it will be too floppy. So I'm kind of devastated over this realization because I was ready to start that, but I just know in my heart I don't think that it's right. It is a very silky superwash, and I think I'm correct. If anyone has any thoughts about this, please feel free to share, because I know there are some experienced knitters who view my channel and might have some thoughts. I scrolled through the projects available on Ravelry of the Sveaborg Pullover. Absolutely zero people have knitted in superwash yarn before. So I feel like that's probably a pretty good parameter to base my hypothesis off of. But it would be so pretty in a tweed, but I just don't think it's gonna work. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up using Louvre from the fiber company for the Sveaborg Pullover. I made my dad's sweater out of that yarn and I loved working with it so much. It smells great, which is maybe a weird thing to say, but it's so nicely sheepy. It smells like a meadow with wool in it. It's just great. Anyway, it also feels great. It's a very rustic yarn, but it's not itchy. It doesn't bother me, and bloomed beautifully when blocking, and it's very lofty, lightweight, hold its shape. I think it'd be beautiful for cables. People have made the Sveaborg out of Louvre specifically. Looks great. I will really miss the tweed element because I really wanted like a tweedy Aran situation, but I just haven't found a tweed DK non-superwash that I'm loving yet. So Louvre is a little bit heathered, so there will definitely be like some color depth to it still, and I just have to decide on a color. I'm kind of leaning towards maybe a gray. There's also a kind of brown color called Stable, and of course I'm drawn towards Serene, but that's what I made my dad's sweater out of, so I don't think I want to knit it up in the same color, but that would be really pretty as well. So now I have 1,100 yards of this and no project. That has me rethinking all of my fall knitting plans. Let me mention a couple of the other patterns that I'm interested in. Oh, one is the Melange Sweater. I cannot get that out of my head. Marlene and I bought Sorella yarn oopsies that came to my house while she was here, right before she came. And we got Speakeasy oopsies, which is this color, and Newsprint oopsies, which are this color. And I thought those two together would make such an amazing Melange sweater, like doing one speckle and one solid. But I'm already working with Newsprint, and I was like, I don't want to work with it again. So I'm actually going to sell the Newsprint oopsies that I have for $80. So if you're interested, you can send me an email. My email is, it's like on my Instagram. It's just chelsea@truelane.co. So if you're interested in buying this for $80 plus shipping, let me know. It's the classic sock. So it's 80/20 2-ply, and it's 4 full skeins. This one was just caked up to make a swatch, but it's all there. Nothing's been cut out of it. So it's 4 full skeins of Newsprint oopsie. If you're interested, you can take it off my hands. And so now I'm like, well, if I did make a Melange sweater, what would I make it out of? So I think that would be a really fun, easy fall knit. I already have a bunch of easy fall knits on the needles. So I don't know if we'll make it that far, but Sveaborg and Stripe Hype Dress are my, for sure, fall knitting plans, as well as my Fletching sweater, which is a colorwork project. I have yarn in stash for that, a kind of warm brown toast color with a really bright zinnia red for the colorwork, and I feel like that will be a really fun project. I also have 2 of these skeins in stash. It's a mauve color and it's a BFL fingering base with tweed, and I have matching mohair to go with it. So this I thought could make a really cute slipover. Now somebody commented and said it would make a cute slipover. I was gonna make a lento. Don't ask me why, but I'm now gonna make a slipover because I think this will be great. maybe a textured slipover, maybe a v-neck slipover, I don't know, but I'm really excited about this combo. And this color, it's so divine. It's not really an autumn color, but I'll make it work. Let me tell you more about it. This is Willow on the Water. She is a friend of mine on Whidbey Island who dyes yarn, and this is again her BFL Tweed fingering sock in the color Mauve. And then the Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair that I have is in Dusty Rose. So they're kind of a perfect mauve, not lavender, lilac-y, amazing shades. So that's something I would like to work on before the end of the year. I have been on Ravelry so much lately, favoriting things. Maybe I should check my queue, because I still have the Terrazza bag on there, which I have not started. Soft Ruffle Socks by Allison Marie. Sorry Allison, I can't quite remember your username, but I'll link her pattern down below. I only have one acquisition because there's a whole video of Flock and everything I bought at Flock. If you'd like to know what I got at Flock, you can watch my last upload. But I took Marlene to the Tea Cozy while she was here, which is one of my favorite yarn shops in Seattle. Their sale section is insane. I love everything they have on sale. And so I got this, a Stonewall sport weight that's American Delaine Merino from, I think it's like Montana maybe, Western United States. Spun in North Carolina, dyed in Pennsylvania, and I think they're a company based in Maine. But I got this sport weight yarn in this really beautiful petroleum blue color, and it just feels amazing. It's so lofty, it's so lightweight. This is 190 yards on 50 grams, and so there were 7 available, and that's how many I got. They had a couple colors that were $5 each. Unfortunately, these were not $5 each, but I just couldn't leave them behind. I thought they have so many great colors that go with this that I thought this sport weight could be a great base for a colorwork sweater if I didn't do something solid. But this is the only yarn that I got outside of Flock, and I'm now done buying yarn for the rest of the year. The tricky part is I have projects in mind that I don't already have the yarn for, so I kind of want to go through my stash and see what I have available to knit with, and maybe what's not exciting me anymore. I've been thinking about doing some sort of de-stash. It's just a little too overwhelming for me to start thinking about going through everything in my stash and letting things go or deciding to keep it, or I get so emotionally attached to things that even if I don't want to make something out of it anymore, I'm like, I have to keep that because it's a memory. So that's something I kind of struggle with. But if you have any ideas for 1,100 yards of Tweed superwash DK, I'm thinking about a cabled cardigan. I'm thinking about stockinette anything. I'm kind of thinking about a cardigan, I think is what's happening. But there's too many ideas out there. My friend Hannah has been texting me a bunch, and I've thought about actually the Winter's Beach cardigan, which is the Andrea Mowry pattern. So maybe something kind of like that, but if you have any ideas, I would be happy to hear them. And that is the update. I am so excited for fall knitting. I hope I surprise myself and get so many of these things done and can jump right into all the fall things. I thought I might have to put a couple of the tank tops away for next year, but then I got them done. So I'm pretty proud of myself. And like I said, everything that's left on the needles is kind of a pre-fall or autumn vibe. So I feel good about everything. I cannot wait to get started on cable sweaters, on colorwork sweaters, on all of these things that I feel ready to do right now. But when you have 7 whips on the needles, I just don't have the mental capacity. So we're gonna clear them. We're gonna clear the needles by the end of the fall from what I have now, and just feel total freedom after that. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed watching, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel if you so choose, and clicking the notification bell because it will notify you when I post a new video so that you don't miss everything going on in the True Lane knitting world. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.